Islam. Alright, we're just going to rise and do our honors up. 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I can't straight up. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, this is just right around the corner. On the desk, there's some papers. Yeah, so as you know, as the custom, we're gonna rise 5 on the left, 2 on the right, in order to activate the 7 of the Elohim, the 7 of chakras, the 7 of hermetic principles, the 7 of everything that has to align with 7 in order for us to know who we are, right? So repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Mother and Father of love.
Mother and Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is our protector.
Allah is our protector.
Our guide.
Our guide.
And our salvation.
And our salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through His holy prophet.
Through His holy prophet.
Noble Ali.
Noble Ali.
Islam.
Islam.
All right. So we're going to start with the readings that's supposed to be read every meeting. I want to say Islam to the Moors that are active and that are living out the Prophet's teachings without having to subject themselves to being owned by a temple in order to do that. So there's people who aren't even part of the Moorish Science Temple that are doing more to bring awareness to this paradigm called the Moorish paradigm. This group of people called the Moorish people. This idea that there are these people that are mystical in their character, right? Because they say that in the movies. The Moors aren't the nigger in the movie. When there's a movie, the Moor is not the pants off the ass guy, right? That's the man that has certain principles, certain standards. Most of the time, he's a ruler of some type of kingdom or territory with soldiers and, you know, castles and, a maid that's his, and she has her own stuff that she owns, and the movie's only about him, and they're not even going to talk about her because that's another movie, right? People that are doing this purposely, going out there to push the Moorish idea, just to put it out there that, you know, there's this thing called this. There's not only a thing called African and black and Negro and colored and African American and African Canadian and Nubian and Egyptian, Kemetan, Sumerian, Phoenician, you know, Anunnaki, whatever. There's not only those stuff. There's also this thing that nobody talks about called the Moors that are relative to all those other things. Right? So to start, as always, there was a reading said to be read in every meeting by the Prophet. Right? Not until certain people like Taj Bey, a member of the temple, right, did his own studying and found other stuff that nobody's talking about, right? And, you know, put this information out there, and then everybody got mad. Because that now puts everybody on the level of knowing everything that's going on. Nobody can hide anything. Everybody knows what's good now. And that's a problem for leadership who are trying to use what Noble Ali brought to gain fame for themselves and not say where they got it, while telling people that they are the, you know, God sent prophet coming here to save you people. of black people. Many people have done it. You know, like from the 1900s on, there's been many people claiming to be the one. But everything that they've presented to the people hasn't done them any good. So from 1900s to 2012, everything that every person other than Noble Drew Ali came and brought hasn't really given the people freedom. Right? So a warning from the Prophet. I hereby inform all members that they must put an end to all radical and agitating speeches while on their jobs, homes, or on the public streets. We advocate peace and not destruction. Stop trying out your cards with the Europeans, for it causes confusion. There has been much confusion caused by members trying out their cards. The cards are for your salvation. Failure of obeying my orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members that seek to hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or to violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors must obey the laws laid down to them by their prophet, by their prophet. Right? And this is him talking. By their prophet, not by somebody else that made up some rules and say, okay, yeah, these are the laws that Noble Drew Ali said to follow. And if they lose confidence in their prophet, give up your card and button, cease wearing your turban or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. For this is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet is sending out a divine plea to all true Moorish Americans that they may do their part in protecting their temple and the movement. May do their part in protecting their temple and their prophet. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Drew Ali. Islam. So he said that Prophet Noble Drew Ali is there. Right? So that means there's some type of ownership claim to the Prophet. But he didn't only come to save Negro, black, colored people. He came for the nations. So their prophet doesn't just apply to Moors. Their prophet applies to humanity. This is everybody's prophet. That everybody has some type of scriptural book saying that the prophet's going to come one day. Everybody. Every single nation on the planet has a book or some type of documentation that's sacred, that's divine, that is filled with intrigue for people to find a higher reason for living. And every one of those books says that prophet is going to come again to do the same work that the prophets before him came to do. Right? To be proclaimed in every meeting. So there's 2 letters that have the title to be proclaimed in every meeting. That since Prophet Noble Drew Ali died, we don't know if they've been reading it. Right? I'm not going to say that they weren't, because maybe there's some that were reading it in every meeting. But the fact that it took 80 years before it even to be in the public, that's a problem. Because that means it was there. And somebody was choosing not to put it up, even though it says on it. Right? And it's the prophet talking. It's not just some man. This is the man in the books that is said to walk on water and, you know what I mean, did all these things that people say are miraculous. Right? So the second letter, March 18th, 1929. And the first letter was January 15th, 1929. And then the prophet left transcended in 1929. So for him to put this out is proving that he knows that somebody's going to take him out, so he needs to put certain things in place in order to assist the Moors. because it's our movement. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement by now by the same people on our side of the nation that claim it was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens. All Asiatics, all, right? Which brings us to this first slide, right? We're gonna say we're gonna give a plug. Go on the website moorishsociety.com. moorishsociety.com, and just go on that website and just look at pictures. And just look at pictures and just look at pictures. Because pictures say more than words. Right? So this first picture, so remember, we're talking about to be proclaimed in every meeting, right? And the prophet said that the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon is what he's bringing. And that there's people who claim that that was a joke. But government officials even came to them and said, you know, that's the only sole foundation for the salvation of the earth. And they still chose to go do whatever they wanted to do, right? So they fired themselves. Just like the U.S. corporate government fired themselves. And right now it's an abandoned government sitting there in debt that doesn't really exist. So it's really neutral. But it's just sitting there, and it's been sitting there, and nobody's claiming it. But the people who represent the evil side, since they're part of it, well, they have a claimant. So they're exercising their claim. Because they never talk under the pyramid. Never, ever, 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 ever. They go as far as to say the eagle seal on the $1 United States debt note. They say that the eagle seal is the great seal. If you Google the great seal, the eagle seal is going to come up. And then later on, you check some pages or whatever, it'll eventually get to the pyramid seal is really the great seal, and the history of John Hanson making the die cast for that seal, and then John Hanson's a Moor. That's why he made a pyramid. Because that's the ancient Egyptian mysteries were handed down to the Moors when Egypt fell. That's what George M. James said. Right? So every nation of the earth, the only sole foundation that they must depend upon for their earthly salvation is what Noble Drew Ali brought. Right? So this first one is some Filipinos. Some Filipinos that said, we're not Filipinos. Look at their face. They don't look like quote-unquote black people. Right? Look at their face. And they're saying on a sign in some rally, Moro, not Filipino. I'm a Moor, I'm not black. Don't call me black. Filipino's a language. Don't call me a language. Call me by my descent name, Moro. Like, that's how real it is. And then people are going to say that these aren't their brothers, because those are Chinese people. Those guys are Asian people. Those guys are Filipino people. That's not my brother. They're not as dark as me. But they want to be Moors though. They don't want to be black like you. They want to be Moors. Exactly. And they don't call them black either.
That's right.
Right? So that's just one. This is just one. Right? The strange relationship that Europeans have to the Moors, right, is about everybody's relationship to the Moors, that Negro, black, colored, black supremacy, black power, Nation of Islam, whatever they call themselves, NAACP, civil rights people, Al Sharpton, all these men who are lawyers that are defending civil rights, when a lawyer is an officer of the court, and the plea that's being made by the lawyer is de facto, because it's not being done by the proper person, which is what the Filipinos are saying. They're not picketing for taxes to get lower. They're picketing for them to be called by their free national name of Moro. Right? Let's send that one around. Because we're not like, it's not no game times right now. People think that, Moorish nationality is something about some card or some paper. When nobody that is active speaks from the perspective that this is about a paper and a card that you get from a temple. You don't talk like that. Right? Tallahassee will tell you, you don't need no nationality card. They stopped me. And I told them I'm a Moor. And they left me alone. And I didn't have to show them a card or papers or nothing. Beat cops. Security guards with guns just driving around enforcing policies. Right? They are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they themselves may take charge of the situation. What's the situation that these guys are trying to take charge of? Being able to say they're the ones that woke up the people. Being able to claim that they're the prophet. Because they came and they said, black supremacy. And everybody should follow that because that's really what it's about. When the Moros will tell you, no, it's not about that. It's not about repping anything black as far as identifying it to yourself. Because it's a fraud. It's just a color. They are working every scheme, right? They are working every scheme to try to disqualify the prophet. Every scheme. Why are they working every scheme? Because they're punks, that's why. Because they love their denationalized status so much that they want people to jump on that bandwagon going over a cliff.
Because they're agents.
Because they're agents. That's not what I say. Noble Ali said that it's your actions and your deeds that let me know whether you're real. Right? Agents. So an agent put up this picture on Facebook today that says, real Moorish American getting ready for Sunday school. Remember, Noble Ali said that this is for the nations. This is everybody's claim to make that you're a Moor. Everybody. Right? So this idiot agent is going to use Doctor Who as the European. Everybody knows Doctor Who?
Yeah, science fiction.
Right. Okay, all right. That's the agent that they're going to use. Okay? So this is the picture that he put up today on Facebook, right? Okay, so he has Doctor Who, right? Wearing a fez. And he's trying to imply that, look, a European is wearing a fez. Well, idiot, if you used to watch Doctor Who, you'll know that Doctor Who is a humanoid, alien. That's a time traveler. He's not even from this planet. He's not even European. These are the agents that we're dealing with today with regard to the Moorish movement and why the Moorish movement isn't going where it's supposed to go. You're going to put Doctor Who in a fez to try to make Moors think like we're idiots. We know about Doctor Who. It's not European. It's an alien. Go Google Doctor Who right now, and I'll give you the whole thing about Doctor Who. Right? But this idiot's gonna come put up something to try to make it look like, you know, and then on top of that, put his logo on the bottom. Right? To try to promote like he's doing something against the Moors. When this is his birthright. Idiot. Prophet said this is your Moorish movement and I'm your prophet. You don't have to accept it if you don't want to. But if you don't accept it, we're going to talk about your dumb ass. Because you're a dumb ass that doesn't want to accept certain realities. Always want to play around with people because you know you can do that. Because it's sorcery that enough people are dealing with to get people's attention. They're not using knowledge and facts and information to get people's attention. Right? Like they're not doing that. They're using sorcery. Whatever they call it. It could be, I have a shrine and I light candles every day. It could be, the moon is in a certain position, so I'm going to draw something in this corner of the house because I know that it's going to be a gateway for something to come in, or whatever. But people are dealing with sorcery to get people's attention. And once they get their attention, they got them away from Moorish knowledge. When the point is to be on Moorish knowledge, just like Doctor Who. Because he's an alien. Think about this now. He's an alien from some other planet. And he knows to wear a fez. He knows to put a fez on. He's an alien.
And what's the logo down the bottom?
We don't want to. We're going to promote them by beating them up. That's how we're going to promote them. We're not going to call their name because they already know who it is. As soon as you go on it and you just look for this on Facebook. When you see this, you'll know who put it there. Right? We'll pass that one around. Right? They're trying every scheme that they can to disqualify the prophet. Looking like idiots. Posting up stupidness. You have an alien in a fez. Like that's supposed to... Go talk to Malachi York L, another Moor, and he'll tell you that, yeah, we come from another planet. Just like Doctor Who. Right? Who chose to come in that form. And come from, digest that he's an alien. And he's not wearing a baseball hat backwards. He's not wearing a kufi. He's not wearing a tam. He doesn't have a head wrap on his head. He's not wearing a bandana. He doesn't have a wave cap. He doesn't have no hat. Man's wearing a fez. Right?
Sad.
Sad. But it's okay. Right? Because this is just supposed to get people to gravitate to the Moorish movement. Because that's what you're supposed to do. Right? That's where you're supposed to be at. Right? Every scheme. Right? So we have another one now. So Noble Jwali said, in order to change the people, you must change their literature. Right? You sure this guy's an idiot. Okay? Now, he doesn't even know. We have this one now. He doesn't even know who this European is. He just went on Google, punched in European with fezzes, and whatever picture he found with the European with a fez, put a caption on it, and tried to slander Moors. When he's slandering his own birthright, like an idiot. And Allah is watching. And all his followers that are following him, and Seti, right? And all these clowns that are trying to put a dent in the Moorish armor and can't even make a kink with their foolishness, right? This one has the European, so you see that, the sorcery these men are doing. This is sorcery at the people looking at this. He's trying to say that the man in the picture is running sorcery and saying, I told you black means death in my dictionary. When every single dictionary is translated from Latin. And Latin is the language of the Moors. And he's going to put my dictionary like Tommy Cooper, right? Oh, and this is from my book. Who stole the fez, Moors or Shriners? Right? That's what this is from. That this is universal. So we don't put dates on our stuff. Large professor taught us that back in the day. That you don't date your stuff because you kill it when you date it. Don't put a date on it, now it's perpetual and it'll last forever. Right? So in my book, Tommy Cooper, that's the European in the picture, was born in Wales, March 19th, 1921. Soon after the outbreak of World War II, Tommy Cooper joined the army and served 7 years until 1947. For much of this time, his regiment was posted in the Middle East. That's where the Arabs come from, who are really Moors. But they think that Arabs are pale Arabs. But they're Moors too, even if they're pale. Because pale Filipino is going to say, you know, Moro, I'm not Filipino. Right? When opportunity allowed, he worked on his performances as a failed magician. Which is why he's in the position that he is in the picture. Because he was really, magician, trickster, juggling and those type of items. Right? It was during his time in Cairo that Tommy Cooper got his trademark hat. So this is not a European that just is, wearing a fez out of buffoonery. He went, when he was in the army, to the Middle East, and whenever he had the opportunity, he went around the common people that were there. And the common people that were there wore fezzes. Because he's in Moorish land. And it was in Cairo, Egypt, that's really not Egypt because it fell. That's why everybody there wears fezzes too. But they're not going to show that on TV when they show Egypt. They're going to show the people who are denationalized. They're not going to show you the people who live, out of the community that they call the city. Right? So that was Tommy Cooper, right? Trying every scheme to try to disqualify the prophet. We're still talking, we didn't even get past the readings yet. Like we didn't even go into, what's class about today? Like we're still on the readings. And we stopped at the part that they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify the prophet. Because that's what they don't know. They think that when they talk about, Moors and fezzes, and they make stupid comments, that they're going against Moors. You're not going against Moors, you're going after the prophet. You're playing yourself. Because you think you're slandering Moors when you're really slandering the prophet. And the prophet said that Moors, I'm out of here. Because the work I have to do for you, I can only do that from the soul plane. So if he's going to do work in our favor on the soul plane, then what's he going to do to people who are against him from the soul plane? Right? Trying every scheme. White man's paperwork, the Moorish way to freedom. Right? And we have to, these are how these guys are idiots. Okay? It's not even like they're not even trying not to be idiots. Right? The white man's paperwork, right? Because we're going to have this on DVD too, and we're going to post it on YouTube too, and we want to see how much hits it's going to get. Because we're putting it out right now that these guys are idiots. agent idiots trying to stop the Prophet's work from being done. Agent idiots. Like, had to have taken a check. Because you didn't even research nothing that you checked out. You just wrote down shit like an idiot. Right? You just wrote down stuff like an idiot. So, white man's paperwork, the Moorish way to freedom, right? And then he has, another thing, just going online, finding the stupidness. So find some Europeans around piles of paper. So if you say, piles of paper / just put piles of paper. These might be the first two pictures that come up.
Probably.
Just because. That's how agents do it, right? White man's paperwork, the Moorish way to freedom. All right, so we're gonna go to free white persons. So a white man is a white person, obviously, right? Free white persons referred to in the Naturalization Act as amended by Act July 14, 1870, has meaning naturally given it when first used in First Statute 103, Section or C3, meaning all persons belonging to the European races then commonly counted as white, and their descendants, including such descendants in other countries to which they have emigrated. So in the Naturalization Act, as amended on the 14th of July, 1870, now this is the amendment. So there's a real definition, and then they made an amendment to that,
That's how they do.
right? And included European races, then commonly called white, their descendants, and which have emigrated. All right. Now, but the real meaning of free white persons, right? It includes all European Jews. That's the first people. That's under the free white person, quote unquote, label. More or less intermixed with peoples of Celtic, Scandinavian, Teutonic, Iberian, Latin, Greek, and Slavic descent. It includes Magyars, Lapps, and Finns, and the Basques of Albania. It includes the mixed Latin, Celtic, Iberian, and Moorish inhabitants of Spain and Portugal, mixed Greek, Latin, Phoenician, and North African inhabitants of Sicily, and the mixed Slav and Tartar inhabitants of South Russia. It does not mean Caucasian race, Aryan race, Indo-European race, nor the mixed Indo-European race, Dravidians, Semitic, and Mongolian peoples who inhabit Persia. A Syrian of Asiatic birth and descent will not be entitled to become a naturalized citizen of the United States as being a free white person. So, yeah, the white man's paperwork is the Moorish way to freedom. Because the Moors are really the white man. And the white man's not a European.
Start making your writs, making your paperwork. You know how to read, don't you? You know how to write. So, where's your paperwork?
Right? Who are these agents working for? Before the time of Elizabeth, don't forget, we're still working on every scheme that they're working. Right? So this is who the agents that you see slandering Moors. We don't even have to say their name, but we'll say it. King Noble, Seti, Amen Patah, all these people with Moorish names, original names, that are slandering their own birthright. And trying to make it cool, like, yeah, I made this. I got you with this one. Right? So who they working for? Before the time of Elizabeth I of England, and contemporary with her time, England was home to thousands of Moors, living peacefully, carrying on different types of professions and trade, and contributing to every fabric of society, as they had always done in England since centuries earlier. Then came the time of Elizabeth I. The neurosis of racism started to manifest virulently against the black Englishmen famously known as the English Moors. So you just Google that, English Moors. And since you're in Europe, Google German Moors. And then Google Italian Moors and Greek Moors, and just go down the line of all the people who have some type of European claim and attach their name to Moors, and just see what you get. The letter reproduced was written by Elizabeth in the 1590s. Therein, she promulgated the expulsion of the Moors of England from the land of their birth. In 1596, she wrote to the Lord Mayors of major cities, noting that they were of late divers blackamoors brought into this realm, of which kind of people there are already here, many, too many. She ordered that those kind of people should be sent forth of the land. Elizabeth made an arrangement for a merchant, Casper van Senden. So Casper, like Casper the Ghost, Van Senden, S-E-N-D-E-N, to deport Moors from England. In 1596, she licensed him to deport at least 89 black people to Spain and Portugal. Right? Hundreds, probably thousands, were subsequently deported, sold, or exchanged for Albion English prisoners in the wake of Elizabeth I's proclamation against black English people. In 1601, Elizabeth issued a further proclamation expressing her discontent by the numbers of blackamoors which are crept into this realm, and again licensing Van Senden to deport black people. This second proclamation only deepened the prejudice and consequent violence practiced against the Moorish nation of England. Many were seized and sold as slaves to galley ships on their way to the Americas. So they were sold as slaves to galley ships. So they were slave ships. So there's no such thing as a slave ship then.
Why, you're saying, what's a galley ship?
It's not a slave ship. Or they would have said, sold to slave ships. Right? And it's impossible to have how much ever tons, because these millions of people have to have some weight. Right? You're not rowing with that much weight. So, coming over here on slave ship is a fraud. And we're still talking about every scheme that they would try to get to disconnect Moors from their birthright. That they are the original people in every landmass, because we're talking about England right now. Which black guys, black power, black supremacy pushers are going to say that Europe is the devil and the cracker and the white man that's trying to use racism to, subjugate us. And they're telling you that the Moors rule over them. The proclamation also stated, her proclamation of 1601 claimed that black people were fostered and relieved here to the great annoyance of the Queen's old liege people that want the relief which those people consume. The proclamation also stated that most of them are infidels having no understanding of Christ or his gospel. They still don't today. This second proclamation announced open seasons on Moors. The orgy of violence, rape, ethnic cleansing and enslavement and sale of Moorish people of England can best be imagined. It seems that the Queen was playing on the physical difference of the Moors from Protestant Albions to blame them for all manner of social ills. It must be recognized that prior to this change in attitude, the Moors were the lights of civilization and culture throughout Europe. The Moors built the castles, the churches, laid down the foundation of great cities and universities, upon which modern Europe is built. The Moors taught Europe science and literature, as well as 7 arts of culture. And then you can just Google that, the 7 liberal arts. And it's not a coincidence that we put up the 5 and the 7, the 5 and the 2, because 7 is important to the Moors. All that seemed to have become irrelevant at the time of Elizabeth I, as racism and genocide have then waxed strong. The causes of this dramatic shift of attitude are somewhat multifaceted and nebulous. Yet, what is clear is that at this point, the Moors were no more powerful as in the past. Rather, they were being used as convenient scapegoats at a time of crisis. And that's from Agwejeyofo Anu, Oguejiofo, Oguejiofo, last name Annu, and that's from AfricaResource.com. AfricaResource.com. Alright? So every schema. So this picture now is a picture of Trayvon Martin. And Trayvon Martin is on his cell phone, and there's a Moorish flag patch on his shirt, right? And he's holding a nationality card, and then it says he's following me, like Trayvon's whispering. And then there's a caption that says, "Don't shoot. I'm not a nigger. I'm a Moorish American."
Don't these people, is nothing sacred to them? Now
Right?
that's ridiculous. That's just plain, how are you gonna use something like this poor young man's
Yeah.
slaughter
We'll-
to play these kinds of games? It's ridiculous.
every scheme.
No, but that's hitting below the belt, you
Yeah,
know?
we're just gonna go in,
They
right?
make me sick.
Yeah, please express yourself. Don't hold back. And now there's a picture of Zimmerman now on a phone holding a gun, and then he has a patch on his arm. Now I don't know if it's American flag or what.
What's
but he
this
has a
from?
patch.
What's this?
This is just some stuff that some black supremacists, black power people made up. This is fresh today. Just went up on Facebook today.
And they made a patch and hit one of them
They
saying
made,
don't
no,
shoot.
we'll pass it around. Oh yeah, where's the other one? Oh yeah, show you.
That's too much. That's when you go too low.
But I missed this
This
little
is what,
messaging.
this is where we're at right now. Those are the ones that they made up. They made those up and posted those up as pictures.
Who's this?
Just some black guys. Some black supremacy, black power, African, red, black, green flag representing people. People who look like us. This is what it's gotten to. as far as the attack against the Moors.
Exactly, and if they actually want to attack the Moors, it's one thing, but this goes beyond the pale.
Right.
There's no justification to do this.
Right.
You know, there's
So-
nothing. There, you can't.
Well, there's more, there's more.
You can't.
Yeah, let's go, there's more. And then there's a question at the bottom. What if Trayvon Martin was holding his nationality card? Do you think Zimmerman would have still have shot him? To answer the question, yes. Because if Trayvon Martin has a nationality card, his name's not going to be Trayvon Martin. Secondly, if Trayvon Martin was a Moorish American, that means his parents would have been Moorish American, and they wouldn't have had him walking the streets, whatever time of night it was, in the rain, to go buy Skittles and iced tea. Because we're vegetarian. We don't mess with those stuff.
But you
Right?
know,
To answer the question, now beyond, this is just specifically to answer the question. Like, we understand the dynamics of, you know, where we are as a people, and that this situation happened and it's bad, and you know what I mean, it's a young man and all that, and you know what I mean, may he rest in peace, God rest his soul. But he's the one coming back telling this story. This is not me telling this story. He's mad too. Right? So this isn't Cujo breaking this down. People have to know, even from Trayvon Martin, that you better proclaim your nationality. Because this is not no game that these people are on.
but they've reduced this to a game, and we should not dignify them with an answer to this particular thing that they're doing to this young
It's
man.
not.
and his
This is
family.
this is already. This has been on Facebook for the past 12 hours.
Right, but
So
we
it's
don't
not.
need to play that game, not when it comes to something like this. This is a young man whose life was stolen from him, and these people are using that for with their agenda.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
it's pathetic.
Yes, it is.
It is really
And this is
dirty.
why we're presenting
Dirty.
it. This is why we're putting it out the way that it's putting it out, because we want to trigger people's emotions in order for them to see the levels that the black supremacist, black power people are going to. These are the same people that were wearing hoods and stuff. Saying why they do that. But they're gonna come and attack and make stupid stuff like this when didn't they let Zimmerman go? They just let Zimmerman go, right? Oh, okay.
Was it last night or tonight?
Last night or tonight?
I think it's tonight, 12
Okay,
o'clock.
so tonight 12 o'clock he's gonna be free. Right?
Why, what happened?
He's
To
gonna
give
be
bail.
free. He got bail.
So, but he was hiding for a while, wasn't he?
Forget all that. He got bail.
And-
He murdered somebody, but he got bail. And you know, the Kill Cracker guys, they're on Facebook. They're home chilling, playing video games on the corner. Right?
On Photoshop putting together.
On Photoshop, putting together that stuff. How about go kill the cracker? If that's what your talk is, that's what you're repping all the time, that's what you're saying up on Facebook. Okay, well Zimmerman got released by the same crackers that you guys are saying that you're gonna kill and kick their ass.
Yeah, but we're not espousing that, are we? We're not wanting them to do that. Right?
No, we're saying that's what you're saying that you're gonna do. Man got released.
You're saying it's,
Don't you think that that's a reason to go kick some crackers' asses?
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with
Oh,
that.
but they're not gonna do that though, right?
Because you're saying that there's obviously some other agenda going on.
Exactly. They're agents,
Yeah.
all of them,
Yeah.
to try to divert you from your nationality by all means necessary.
Bring you down to an animal state.
Bring you down to an animal state. That's why, good thing that you brought that up. Islam to Grand Vanguard, who said that exact same thing, trying to bring you down to your lower self. Right? This is for the people out there, right? Just like Sister Mocha, who don't know. They don't go on those stuff,
Neither do I.
right? Like yourself. That don't really go on, you know.
Never go.
You just, you know, it's just something that you just don't. But this is what's going on against your birthright that your prophet brought to you. This is what these people are resorting to. Right? And oh yeah, this is for you. We're going for an hour, right?
I raced out here, brother. I got
we only read this. We didn't even read the full second reading yet.
Oh,
Of the reading supposed to be read every week.
okay. Well, that's why I'm here.
Right?
Okay.
Right? We don't even finish yet.
Okay.
We're right now, we're talking about they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they themselves may take charge of the situation. That's where we stopped and started showing those pictures. This is the levels that they're going. Right? We can't knock them because they're agents. So recognize that that's what they are and jump ship. King Alfred Plan told you that they're agents, they've been infiltrated. Noble Drew Ali dying told you that they've been infiltrated. Malachi York in prison told you that they've been infiltrated. Khalid Muhammad dead told you that they've been infiltrated. Kwame Ture told you that they've been infiltrated. Biggie, Tupac, they told you that they're infiltrated. And nobody's not taking that seriously. You want to play games with people? People's lives that they don't have anymore? Right? Those people have to get boycotted because they're agents. What, like, in ancient times, you don't want to be a traitor to your race. Like, you don't want to be a traitor to your principles that were given to you by your foremothers and forefathers. Because that means death.
Well, treason is one of the highest crimes.
Right? Let's go back for the meeting. It's for the reading. So we can go Sister Bokaris. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works, which I have performed in the last few days. Right? So, if we go around the world now, right? So, there's this one now, Saracen Head Hotel. This is from the same website. There's so much stuff on the website, like I probably got 20 pages of pictures. But there's like, thousands of pictures that are just not really in the public. They're out there, but nobody's not looking for them because they don't even know what's going on. They think they're Negro black colored. So they would look at this picture and it says Saracen's Head Hotel. And there's a European of a paleo man on there. Right? And they would automatically not connect that to the Moors. When you look up Saracens, it'll tell you that that's Moors. Right? He has a turban on. He has, you can see by his gear that he's wearing. You can see that he has a scimitar. Right? Just out there. This is just some hotel in the world. Saracen Head Hotel. Right? That's what they're pushing. Right?
So Saracen is what again?
Saracen is just another name for Moors. Another hiding the true name. Right? So this one, just another brother. That obviously he's not dark skinned, even though it's a black and white photo, you can tell he's not dark skinned. Right, but he has his fez on. Right? Everybody's been told. The prophet came to save everybody. prophet came to save nations, right? When you go to Jerusalem, you have to walk through this.
Well, this is the gateway of something. We were talking about this yesterday.
Right, yeah. Moor's Gate.
Moorish Gate.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
Moor's Gate.
Yeah.
In Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Like,
If you
that's
look-
the name of
And
it.
if you look at the top above the gate right there, there's a
Right.
symbol.
Yeah.
Now, you remember I was telling you about going around in Toronto and looking at a lot of the symbols that the Masons use?
Right.
That symbol that you see above the actual gate, which is a flower,
Mhm.
is on all of the architecture on some of these old buildings.
Yeah.
I wondered what it represented, because I was reading the Quran,
Yeah.
the sort of, the other
Right,
Quran,
right.
and it had that figure, that
Figure.
shape on it.
Yeah.
But that flowered figure,
Yeah.
right there at the top, is what they have on a lot of these buildings, and what I realized was all of this symbiology.
Yeah.
Which is what, you know, because all that stuff, then when they connect it to everything else, and that's why, you know, this whole sort of what you said you were gonna be dealing with today, which was subliminal messaging.
Right.
You know, the triangle, all those buildings that I was
Right.
telling you that have that triangle, the
Exactly.
churches, all the Roman Catholic churches that have the triangle,
Yeah.
which is all representative of that structure.
Yeah, like they're, and, you know, these are the Jews. These are the Jews who they say had a hand in the slave trade. These are the Jews who
And I
say
wanted to-
that,
remember
you know,
yesterday-
ABCD, but they go through the Moor's Gate.
Right. That's right. I wanted to, you remember yesterday I showed you guys, this book, you remember
Yeah.
the Moors?
Yeah.
So I've been reading a little bit further on it, and in this one section it says, the story began in 1781 when William Herschel, an astronomical enthusiast who was by profession organist at the Octagon Chapel in Bath, discovered the planet we now call Uranus. 5 planets have been known since antiquity: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And nobody seriously thought that there might be another, only because 5 planets, plus the sun and the moon, gave a grand total of 7, the mystical number of the ancients.
Right there.
Mystical number.
Mystical number
of the ancients.
Of the ancients.
And if you think about it, the 5 and the 2.
Oh, this is short up.
And you see how you read that first one page, what I
Yeah.
told you? You can, while you're read, because what I realized, you have to, there's another 4 pages beyond it that sort of go into, like, as you turn the pages, go into more Ptolemy
It gets-
and all of
yeah,
his
it gets heavy.
nonsense. Not really any more heavy, but
Oh,
just
but-
sort of reiterate, like, sort of showing you, if you know the background, what else. But yeah, talking about the 7, the mystical number of the ancients, if that doesn't describe it all, right?
So they're coming out of their way, right?
But everything is imbued with it, everything, right? It can't be, because that's part of, that is us. That is us as a world history, right?
Exactly.
So it can't, it is in everything.
Right? And you got these ones now. Where there's fezzes in a case in George Washington Masonic Museum. That they have this case, where like, just like this wall with just fezzes in it. And then all of them have names like Bella, Ben Gay, Khalif, Shaman, Cinema, Cyrus. You know, like all these different.
And then this one, here, which talks about
Right? So they're saying all these names that aren't, you know, European names, and then the caption of the picture says, Fezzes showcased at George Washington Masonic National Memorial. Note the honorary Fez of Ben Bay, second from top right. Right? So no, like why would they point out note Ben Bay's Fez? You know, of all the names that are there, they make reference to that one. Right? And Ben Bay was Benjamin Banneker, the Moor, who designed Washington D.C. Right? Everybody's been told. For people seeing this one, but they want to pretend like, you know, that his name's Ali. Muhammad Ali's name is Ali. Why wouldn't he wear a fez? Why wouldn't he proclaim his nationality and not go to war? Right? And then not go to war against his brothers. in the picture that we showed before.
That's right.
The morals. People know what's good, but they don't want to accept certain reality. Right? And they want to play games with people's birthright. Right? Right, so there's a Moorhead, European lady just holding her Moorhead flag, repping it, harder than you black supremacy, black power people. Repping it, has her flag up, has her flag, which is to bring to the point, Brother Tallahassee was dealing with a situation. He was at the hospital, and there was this man there, you know, that supposedly has dementia or so. We were just having a conversation, and you know, it came up, you know, what are you? Oh yeah, I'm from Malta, you know, da da da. And he's, you know, having a conversation, talking about Islam, right? He's having a conversation, and then, you know, Tallahassee like, yeah, well, you know, I'm a Moor. He's like, oh, the Moors. Like, oh yeah, you know, he starts talking about the Moors and the history of the Moors in Malta and, you know, all European,
Oh, yeah.
right? Saying that, you know, yeah, I basically saying that, yeah, I know the Moors in my blood. You know, like, I know. But it's European. Like, looks like a European that you would say that's a European. Right? But they're repping their Moors flag harder than, right? Right? Crest of Coburg, Germany. Right? This is the crest of Germany. Coburg, Germany, this is their crest that they use. In Germany. And that is known as a Moorhead in Germany. That's what it is. Over there.
You're supporting the whole EU right now. They don't pay. They don't use the term black.
This is a good one. What he said, you know, was we have to learn to love instead of hate. All these people are going up to see the prophet for this action, right? Right? Black power, right? Black power, but you know what's quote unquote black doctors gonna do if a Klansman comes in there, shot up or stabbed up? They're gonna say no, let him die. Let that cracker die, don't do nothing. You know? Just like how, you know, the Europeans will say, some Europeans say, no, let that nigger die, and you let him die. Right? Well, here's our people. The biggest one is this lady on this side right here. Like, really in it. Focused. Like, yo, focused. Nothing else matters right now.
We got to save Master.
We got to save him. Because Prophet said he's our fellow man. And he came for nations. So, yeah, let that cracker die, but if it really comes down to it, and you really need that mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and it's the cracker, and you have children and stuff, and you have family that cares about you, you're not going to say no. Let me die because I don't want mouth-to-mouth from a cracker. Right? Right? Africans know that they're not Africans, and they do that by the way that they dress. Right? Now, what's this African wearing this tall fez for? Like Africans wearing a tall fez. Happy. And we know that he's not going to call himself African. that's a fraud. We know he's not going to call himself African. Because he knows better. You know, he's not drinking that water that these guys are drinking in this landmass, that abandoning their birthright. Abandoning their birthright. What did it say about the sevens in the book there?
About the number 7?
Yeah.
It just said that 5 planets have been known since antiquity, which I guess would be since
Right.
the old ages.
Yeah.
Mercury being the
Right.
first one,
Right.
Venus being the
Yeah.
second one,
Right.
Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, and nobody seriously thought that there might be another planet, if only because 5 planets plus the sun and the moon gave a grand total of 7, the mystical number of the ancients.
Right. So 7, the mystical number of the ancients, right? So 7, the mystical number of the ancients that we say the Moors, right? And then the Great Seal, which is really this way. And then when you turn it upside down, it's a circle and a 7. And the shadow of the pyramid makes a 7 in a circle. To let you know that this is your government. But if you don't want it, then we'll just use the eagle side and rule the world.
I understand.
Hmm? You don't see it?